This segment is sponsored by Dennis Goins of DennisGoins.com. I'm Lady Charmaine, and I'm here today with financial advisor, Mr. Dennis Goins. How you doing, Dennis?
I'm doing fine, Lady Charmaine. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm really excited about the topic today because we're going to be talking about guarding against fraud, which is so prevalent today. And so I know you're going to be sharing with us some steps today that we can take on how to guard ourselves. So thank you so much for sharing this information today.
Thank you for the opportunity. You had mentioned guarding against fraud. I mean, it's never a day passes that we don't read or see on television or the radio about a person being affected by fraud. And there was a recent survey of American adults aged 40 and over that 84% of them have revealed that they had been solicited to participate in a potential fraudulent offer. And 11% of those lost money after engaging in such an offer. So it's a prevalent problem today in America for fraudulent activity. And usually the root of this problem, besides the endless efforts of criminals, is the people's naivety. Most salespeople are trained to appeal to either the need and or the greed of an individual. And that's very important on how they focus on these sales pitches. And they make unrealistic promises, and they target usually the elderly community, anyone 65 and older. And this age group has lost a significant amount of money in these fraudulent schemes. And there's usually a lot of red flags, excuse me, when you're approached by these individuals. There's no way that you can lose money on an investment. It's fully guaranteed. That's 43% of the respondents mentioned that that's what the individuals that approached them said, that you can never lose money. It's fully guaranteed. Also, the lowest return you could possibly get on this investment is 50% annually. But most investors are making upwards of 110% a year. Again, a very far-fetched proposal, but it has been working on a significant amount of people. And then finally, this investment has made hundreds of people extremely wealthy. That goes to the greed factor that I mentioned. So, but fraud is very complex, and obviously there's a lot of schemes that you can talk about. And I'm sure you've experienced and heard about a lot of those issues also.
Oh, I have. And it's so funny because when you think about it, when you said they play on your need and they play on your greed, and you have to be able to, as my old pastor used to say, make a circle around yourself and see where you fit in. Because if you're needy, you'll be able to fall, into one of those schemes. And if you're greedy, you'll be able to fall into one of those schemes. I went to an event. We were invited, my husband and I, several years ago. And, they served us delicious hors d'oeuvres, and it was really nice. And when you say playing on somebody's greed or even on their need, this gentleman, he came, and he showed this video of him and his wife on the golf course, him and his wife walking out of their mansion, him and his wife driving lavish cars, him and his wife eating in very fine restaurants, fine dining. And so if you're a person who really strives and works for that, that's fine. But that's what they were showing about themselves, but saying that this business will get you this lifestyle. And when I started looking into the business, and so they had different salespeople there to talk to us, and they were saying, it was a juice. It was a juice that they wanted people to purchase or whatever. But so I told the lady, I said, well, I would like to try the juice. She was more interested in me signing up to become a distributor. But I said, well, I wouldn't want to become a distributor if I wouldn't even know what the juice tastes like, right? So I noticed when she began to show us the pay scheme of everything, it was a pyramid scheme. So I said, are you using this juice as a ploy background, but what you're really doing is when this person comes in at $500, the $500 that they actually give is going down the line to all the other heads? And she was like, well, no. Because I'm like, there is really no product involved. The product is basically the background of what they're trying to say you're going to be getting. So another friend, she contacted me about the same business. And I told her that I heard the owner speak, and she was like, you didn't sign up? And I told her, no. I said, this is what I want you to do. After you be in the business for 1 year and you achieve everything that this gentleman said you can get, I said, you call me and then I'll sign up. She ended up dropping out several months later.
Yeah.
Because I'm...
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. There's a lot of schemes out there that are positioned as they call multi-level marketing,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of them have been, as you've read in the media, have been pretty much jammed as pyramid schemes. It's not about the product; it's about signing people up, and a lot of people have invested a lot of their savings and investments, hoping to get that lifestyle in those particular pyramid schemes, and it doesn't work. And here's a list of a few of a lot of issues that have come up. If an investment, and one of the things I find too is people, when we get into retirement planning, and once they actually find out how short they're going to be in retirement, they try to make up for that by trying to get rich quick. There is no shortcut.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why the earlier you start, the better off you are. But these sales schemes appeal to those people's, what they feel is a need and greed to try to catch up on that retirement plan, or that retirement shortfall by offering them these unrealistic returns. And one of the things that's important is investment sounds too good to be true. It probably is. Investing is a long-term process. It maintains discipline, and it's just a typical thing in investments. The higher the risk, the higher the return. So if you want to get a higher return, there's a high likelihood that you may lose money, and that's the basic principles of finance. You need to understand that. And more importantly, you may lose your principal, the money you invested. Not only will you get a lower return, you'll lose the money that you invested in. And again, a lot of elderly people have been fall prey to that. Their life savings. I mean, you look on television a lot of times. I watch the show American Greed, and it's just so heartbreaking to see a lot of people that have been taken for their retirement, and even their home. Get people to take money out of their home to invest in some of these schemes, and the money's gone, and it doesn't. People are bankrupt, and they don't have any recourse for the most part to get their money back. But if the investment sounds too good to be true, it probably is. When you start talking about 50 and 110% rate of return, that should be a telltale sign that something's wrong. Never spend money based on the promise of getting money. This is a big scheme that's going on now, particularly internationally. This type of scam can take many forms. For example, you might get an email promising you a large amount of money in return for a small upfront fee. And what they want you to do is they'll send you an authentic-looking check. You take it to your bank and cash it, which you think is going to go through, but you've already wired the money, somewhere to this individual. And when the check bounces, you're sitting there and owing the bank the money, and you have a problem. Several people have gotten caught by this scheme. Again, that greed factor. I mean, who would ever send you a check where you're going to get a lot of money back and you didn't do anything for it? That should be a telltale sign. But never send money based on a promise of getting money. That can be very, 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 very costly. And finally, just because it looks official doesn't mean it is. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are taking advantage of government agencies, getting, even from banks, saying that it's from the IRS or it's from your state tax agency or whatever. You owe this money, you owe that money. And individuals are sending money to these entities thinking that that's the official IRS or the state tax fund. And it's really not. It's a fake agency. They're either trying to get your money or they're trying to get your information. Never send your information, your password, your social security numbers, all your vital information until you're sure that that's the entity that you're supposed to. Because once they get that information, that's where they can use your identity to get all information and can prevent a lot of problems, a lot of fraud for you. So the best defense for fraudulent activity is pretty much having good skepticism and good common sense. I mean, that's unfortunate to say, but that's really how a lot of these schemes are working, particularly over the internet, where you're sending money, sending information, and you've got to have common sense, not to be demeaning to anybody, to really think, is this really too good to be true? And it probably is.
So that was good information. Now, Mr. Goins, if people wanted to reach out to you and talk to you, where can they go?
They can contact me via my email address, dennis@dennisgoins.com. They can also reach me via my website, www.dennisgoins.com, and also I'm on LinkedIn, and I have a Facebook page, Dennis Goins and Associates. And I encourage to contact and at least reach out to my website and some of the LinkedIn pages, because there's a lot of other information, the things we talk about on this show and other things that's very, very vital and important for individuals as far as finance.
Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing this information with us. We want to remind everyone to make sure that you tune in to Lady Charmaine Live every Friday at 10:30 to hear more great tips from Mr. Dennis Goins. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Lady Charmaine.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to learn more about financial investments, contact Dennis Goins at dennisgoins.com.